Hello, everybody, and welcome to a conversation with Caseguru. Today, we are here to find out some really key information for some of the best family lawyers in the UK, and we're joined by some really exceptional talent. But also, we're also joined by a exciting law firm owner who is on a mission with their law firm to do some really exciting things for the legal and wider community. But whether you're going through a divorce, dealing with custody issues, or simply want to understand your rights, this interview is going to be aimed at covering those key topics and the information you're going to need to make informed decisions. So let's get into it. But first off, please, could you kindly introduce yourselves? Coming to you first, Shira.
Thank you so much, Rob, for having us. So my name is Shira Mansouri. I am one of the founders of Themis Crown Advocates. I co-founded the firm with Anna Villetti. I'm really passionate about charity law, commercial law, and as you'll get to hear today, family law. I've got my colleague Amma on the line, and I'll pass on to her to introduce herself.
Hello, thank you everyone, and thank you Rob for having us on your show. My name's Amma Sari and I'm one of the legal consultants at this fabulous up and coming firm, and I specialise in family and family childcare law, and I'm really excited to be here to answer the questions that you may have for both of us.
Absolutely. So let's get into the heart of the conversation, because understanding the divorce process is important, and it can be very daunting for many people. So, Amal, maybe coming to you first, could you walk us through the overall process of divorce from filing to actually finalising, and what are some of the things that people really need to understand to make sure that they are making informed decisions?
Yes, certainly. And as you correctly say, divorce can be a daunting process for everyone, and getting divorced or even dissolving a civil partnership can be especially a stressful, emotional, and difficult time. A family law solicitor will support you through the whole process, making it as simple and stress-free as possible by obviously listening to you and discussing options available for you and helping you understand your ex-partner's rights. In terms of the legal process to get a divorce or dissolution in England or Wales prior to 2022, you were required to either live apart for 2 years or, on the following reasons of maybe adultery, unreasonable behaviour, 5 years separation. But now that's changed. You do not have to have the requirement of fault or blame in the divorce process. And the only requirement of divorce now is that there has to be an irretrievable breakdown. In terms of the stages, couples can apply individually or as a couple. Joint applications can switch to an individual application if they can no longer work together. So that's basically forms that needs to be filled in. There's about a 20-week reflection period, which starts when the application is made. You apply for a conditional offer order, and you must wait for a minimum of 6 weeks before applying for a final order. And after the 6 weeks is up, the couple can apply for the final order, and then once it's granted, it only takes a day or two after applying for the final order. And in terms of, I think, did you ask how much? Well, you can ask how much divorce costs. It really depends. It varies. Your solicitor will tell you if you're possibly entitled to legal aid. Or the court fees is £593 in England and Wales, whether you use a lawyer or not. And it takes about 20 weeks. So, so that's it in a nutshell.
Well, thank you. I think that's really helpful, giving a good overview there of some of the key things people need to understand. And Shira, if there's anything you would like to add at any point, please feel free. I guess is there anything you would like to sort of maybe chip in on that, Shira, from your perspective or a law firm owner perspective?
Yes, for me, it's understanding that it's a relationship that has broken down, and as lawyers, we are here to support you through that very sort of emotional and traumatic stage, but also understand how we can signpost you to other support within the community or within your network, so that you do feel like you're getting the support you need. So one thing I would say about our law firms, as you can see, our law firm, we've got consultants such as Amma who do have the compassion and empathy to work with our clients through this journey. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important, isn't it? I always talk about the importance of, really meeting clients where they're at and showing empathy and really building that trust as the advisor and expert, walking them through, a very tricky and challenging time in their lives. Could we talk about some of the common mistakes in divorce cases that you typically see? What are some of the most common ones that can hurt your chances of actually getting a fair outcome in court? We'd love to come to you on that, Emma.
Yes, I think a common mistake individuals make when going through a divorce is underestimating how long the process is, and or maybe delaying even seeking legal advice or seeking none at all. I will also say overlooking such methods as mediation, which can make a significant difference, I think, in keeping matters amicable and resolving disputes. So it'll keep costs down. And I think it's really important for mediation, especially when children are involved. And it's also a faster and less stressful procedure compared to court proceedings. Surprisingly, I would add as well not changing your will or estate plan upon divorce. Another common mistake, I suppose, involving your children. Divorce is not a problem for children to have to worry about or try to understand. It's between the mother and father. So that's very important. Social media, they can be shown to the court and used negatively against you. So taking advice from friends and family might not be a good thing, or even searching the internet because usually they could be out of date. Not looking after your mental health. Like you correctly mentioned, Rob, I think you talked about, the emotional toll it can take physically. So I always champion about mental health and self-care throughout the divorce process. Overlooking pensions. Pensions are the next biggest asset a couple may have after property. Not getting a financial order. I will say lack of communication and doing it yourself.
Some really good practical tips there and things that people should be considering. So thank you for that, Amar. Anything, Sherry, you would like to build on that or to stress from some of those points shared?
Yes, so 2 points for me to stress. The first one is about individuals trying to embark on this process by themselves. So, as a partner at Themis Crown Advocates, I do regularly speak with potential clients, and by the time they come to us, sometimes, things have escalated to a much more serious matter, and it's always for me to understand. I wish you had contacted a lawyer, even if not us, earlier, because lawyers, especially family lawyers, we're here to help you through this process, and just demystifying that whole process of how do you actually contact a lawyer, which law firm do you go to, and do you have the trust and rapport with that lawyer as well to help you through that process. So for me, just really echoing Emma's points around engaging with a specialist lawyer in the first instance. And then the second point is around mental health and well-being. So as rightly said, it's a very traumatic and emotional time. There might be children involved. There might be, adultery, infidelity. There are all these other considerations. So really do lean into your network to get the support that you need, and really take care of your mental health through the process.
Yeah, and look, really great points. And to simplify this to people that just to think about it, if you need an operation on your heart, you're not suddenly going to start operating on yourself and dive into your most vital organ. There's a reason you instruct experts and people that know who can guide you through very important parts through your life, and absolutely getting the right family lawyer for you can help. So thank you for sharing that. And I guess I want to talk about narcissists. We have to be kind of real to the situation that narcissistic partners do exist, unfortunately. So many people struggle with divorcing someone who may exhibit narcissistic traits or behaviors. So what are some common mistakes people make when divorcing a narcissist, and how can they protect themselves both emotionally and legally? Emma, I'd love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's a very good question. And there has been, I think narcissistic partners, have been present in most divorce proceedings. So, I mean, a long term relationship with someone showing narcissistic traits will often leave their partner, I think, socially isolated and lacking confidence. And the type of behaviors complained of mostly by narcissistic partners include control, a desire to win, a lack of empathy, a refusal to accept that anyone else might have an opinion or that they may be right. So the goal for you, basically, in getting away from a narcissist partner, I believe, is to start a new life independently so that you can get to your freedom. But sadly, this is not always the case, as every step is likely to be more challenging. So I will say, in terms of protecting yourself, by doing the following. I'm going to stress this: maintain your mental health and seek a counselor who can support you through the process. Listen to your solicitor and not your narcissistic partner, who will continue to undermine your confidence when making decisions with your solicitor. Prepare well for meetings and stay one step ahead of the narcissist partner. Prepare your funding and get your paperwork in order, as divorcing a narcissist may be a longer process and emotionally drain you. So responding quickly to requests for information from your solicitor, gathering and providing information, is what I suggest will be the best thing that you can do.
Yeah, no, some really practical tips once again. Shira, anything you would like to build on that before we move on?
Thank you, Rob. Echoing Emma's points around being ahead of your narcissistic partner, for me, it's also knowing when to seek help if you need to get the police involved, or if at any time you feel that your life is at threat or that of your children is at threat. It's really important to get the right help, but also making sure that you are speaking to the police and getting that recorded. I know there is a common misperception around when to get the police involved and not wanting that to create havoc in the future, but always protecting your safety and your children's safety as well if there are children involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really well said. Let's move on then to false allegations in divorce and custody battles, because, we see that a lot, unfortunately. So these false allegations, I guess, can be incredibly damaging, especially when it comes to custody disputes. So how should someone respond if they find themselves facing these sort of accusations during a divorce or indeed custody battle? Amar, coming to you.
Yes, another very good question, and something that I feel we should be aware of. For any serious allegation, you should always keep calm, not confront your ex-partner about the allegations outside of court. If the allegation is raised as part of the legal proceedings, be motivated to disprove the allegation and provide information in support of your arguments. Do not fall into the trap, I believe, of seeking to prove your ex-partner to be a liar. Seek legal advice if you can afford the services of a solicitor. Have a third party so that you're not emotionally involved. Read any letters or texts or emails. Consider the motives and reasons for the allegation and whether these could result from a mental illness on the part of the accuser. Seek to clarify the details of the allegation. So, for instance, if the allegation is domestic abuse, it's no longer called domestic violence. What are you actually accused of? Consider the evidence that your ex-partner may have to support the allegation. If you have evidence which disproves the allegation, ask that if you can submit that as evidence. You can also, there's other options. asks that the allegations be investigated by a suitably qualified professional, such as a psychologist, or asks that the children be separately represented. And it is commonplace, false allegations in family court proceedings. So really be aware that parts of the evidence that the judge will consider is how the parties behave in court. And we see people damage their cases by purely how they behave. And judges prefer to see that parents can put aside their differences and focus on the children's needs and welfare. And if there is any truth to the allegation, seek appropriate help is often helpful as well.
Yeah, no, again, great points. Shira, anything to build on any of those points shared there?
Yes, ultimately, it's about seeking legal advice for me, especially if there's instances of false allegation and children are involved. The sooner you're able to seek that legal advice, we have specialist lawyers, Emma and Rachel, and a few other within our firm that can support people through this process. And that is what we're here for. You know, a lawyer, especially a family lawyer, we are trained to ensure that when we are supporting our clients through this phase, we're putting the right evidence and the right information in front of the judges, and we're basing it on how we can best support the client to get to the desired solution.
Yeah, no, again, really valid points, and thank you for going into great detail both. Let's talk about parental alienation and sort of child brainwashing, because this is also another thing that we see. One of the more sort of heartbreaking aspects, I guess, of divorce is when one parent is accused of alienating the children from the other parent. So could you explain what parental alienation looks like and how it can actually affect children and what legal steps can be taken to address it? Emma, I would love your thoughts.
Parental alienation occurs when a child refuses to have a relationship with a parent. I will say due to manipulation, and just following on from your previous question, such as the exaggeration of false information by the other parent as well. And it does most often arise during custody battles or divorce, like you correctly say. And no doubt the experience can be deeply upsetting for a child. He or she may feel confused, sad, and lonely after the loss, and children may feel puzzled. It's important to notice that we don't have evidence to counter the other parent's lies, but there are common alienation behaviors that people can spot, such as the child or the parent speaking negatively or telling lies about the other parent, the parent encouraging the child to be discourteous or defiant towards the other parent, the child and or parent blaming the other parent for the breakdown of the relationship, and the parents manipulating a child to make them believe the other parent is untrustworthy or even dangerous, or even a parent telling the child that the other parent does not love them anymore. So in the UK, there is no law for dealing with parental alienation. However, family courts can and will step in when a child's welfare suffers as a result. So in terms of the legal side, there is a premise, should I say, that is in the child's best interest to have a positive relationship with both their parents, and that stopping contact should only be considered when it is clear and that is not in the child's best interest to continue with it. And so I think in those serious situations, the court might order that the child should be removed from the care of the alienating parent and placed with the other to prevent a further deterioration of their relationship. And I would say that for now, obviously, bearing in mind we have a time limit, but those are the most important things, and that victims of parental alienation can fight, the offence in court as well. They will either collect, I don't know, detailed evidence through malicious texts or social media posts. So I will say the legal process, you should also involve a psychological evaluation in terms of when you are dealing with this situation, and in terms of family assessment.
Yeah, no, really, really good points, and yeah, I think there's a lot for people to be thinking about there. Shira, anything you want to sort of build on from that?
Yes, building on the sort of the child's welfare element as well is important. So, obviously, it's really important to engage with lawyers and specialist lawyers who do have a particular expertise in this area. But at the same time, as lawyers, we have a duty of care to our clients, and if at any point we notice some of the signs, children's welfare is really important. So ensuring that that child has access to the mental health support that they need is particularly important for me, and that's why I thought I'll elaborate on that point that Amma mentioned.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, again, really, really good points this. I guess a quick wrap-up question a couple of quick questions before we look to close. And it's around sort of, firstly, fathers and equal treatment in custody cases, because there's common misperceptions, I guess, in terms of that fathers are often at a disadvantage when it comes to child custody. So how true actually is that? And what steps can fathers take to ensure that they're fairly treated in the family court? Emma, I would love your thoughts.
Well, parental responsibility usually lies with the mother because they're the primary main carer of the children. But steps have been taken now as to how fathers can obtain parental responsibility. And for instance, if their name is on the birth certificate. So I do believe that we are making steps towards this, and that there is that common perception that fathers are treated at a disadvantage when it comes to child custody. So I think it is a very important topic to talk about, especially when the father's no longer with the mother and has moved on, maybe within a new relationship, and that means then there's other children involved, and then it becomes a wider family issue, and then the tensions arise. In terms of what steps can fathers take to ensure they are treated fairly, which I think is a very important question, I think early compulsory education about relationships and what makes them healthy and good. Talking about maybe mediation about the realities of parenting and the need for both parents to be involved. Counselling, so people at least can ask each other, for instance, do we want the children together? What would we do if the children split up? If we split up. Better access, I think, to advice for litigants in person, because I noticed most fathers who come into court, they are not legally represented, and maybe the mother is because she's been a victim of domestic abuse. So I think recognizing that mediation is very important in those situations is very important. More resources for the family courts. I think we need much more so that there are enough judges to hear cases quickly as well. And recognition that maybe social workers or private law family lawyers are more likely to be women. We need to maybe balance that a bit more. Maybe, a father will prefer a male, I suppose, professional. Why don't men want these jobs, should I say? Because, most of the workers, whether they're Kafkas or they're social workers, they mostly are women. And I don't know if it's because areas of work dealing with children are maybe seen to men as low status. I'm not sure. Better recognized and better funded pathways to assessment and help for these cases, I think, are very, very important. So out of all the questions so far, this is particularly my favorite.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And thank you for giving such thorough, detailed response. So I guess, Shira, before we wrap up, is there anything you would like to sort of stress or cover from what we've discussed today in terms of giving people some key takeaways? Shira, I'd love to come to you.
So, 3 points, just to wrap up. The first point for me is engaging lawyers as early as possible in this process, because we are genuinely here to support, and knowing where to get that information. Sometimes access to justice is a process that individuals just don't know how to navigate the legal system. And that's also on us as lawyers, and myself as a partner at Themis Crown Advocates. It's something that I'm really passionate about, because it's not so much having the law firm and legal consultants such as Amma. It's about making sure that we're visible, especially within our communities, the BAME community, being able to know that we are there to support our community, and anyone who needs legal advice can always reach us. The second point for me is mental health, and being able to advocate for our clients' mental well-being through this journey is an important pillar of our firm, but also our lawyers are very considerate of the emotional state that the clients come to us. So really echoing the need for mental health support and signposting them to the relevant resources. And then the third point is just demystifying the whole legal representation. We, as much as a lot of female lawyers end up doing sort of maybe family or private client work, we are a profession that needs to be demystified for our clients so that they feel safe enough to approach us and trust us. And I'm really proud to have set up a law firm that is looking to address this and having consultants such as Amma on board.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Really, really well said. Amar, anything quickly you'd like to say before we close to conclude?
No, I would just echo basically what Shira said, and I think I stand at the basis that there is an imbalance between men and females in subjects such as family that Shira has rightly pointed to. And I would love to see a balanced structure in terms of that. So fathers don't feel that before they reach a court process, they're already going to be defeated and they'll lose their children. So that obviously brings in the mental health element to it as well.
Yeah, no, well, it just leads me to say thank you both so much for giving such thorough, detailed responses to a very important conversation today. So really appreciate both of your insights. And for those of you watching, if you're looking for legal advice or need help finding the right family solicitor for your specific situation, be sure to go and check out Caseguru. Check out our website, which is caseguru.app, where you can compare the top family lawyers in the UK, choose which one fits your needs appropriately. And we're here to help you find better ways of making those decisions, difficult ones, far easier and smoother for you. So thanks again so much for tuning in. Thank you to Amar and Shira for joining us. Please do follow both of them here on LinkedIn. Get in touch with them. Very much doing some interesting work and here to help you. But until the next Caseguru conversation, over and out.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob.